All right. We are live. It's great. Cool. I'm very excited to have your wine today. You probably even saw my post. I tried your Cabernet Moravia before this even started, and it's delicious. I'm very excited to drink it tonight. So yeah, we'll just give a few minutes to people to log in. Okay.
See how many people is watching?
Yep. So we've got 4 people watching now. I'm gonna throw it on my phone too, just to see. Yep. So we've got cool. Okay. Cool. Awesome. So yeah, I'll just give it a few minutes until I know we had a few people buy your wine sets. I'm very excited, Anna. So there's lots of red wine lovers in Brno who are anxious to learn about natural red wine. So that's very exciting. Cool. All right, awesome. We've got 7 people watching now. Cool. Hi, Jared. Jared's watching from Raleigh, North Carolina. That's nice. Ahoy, Jared. Hi, Alicia. Ahoy, Oti. Cool. Daria, hi. Hi, Daria.
Hi,
Daria got your wine sets today. I personally delivered it. She lives so far from me, 5 minutes up the road. And I brought her a corkscrew too, so that's great. Cool. So it looks like we've got about 7 people watching right now, 8 people. Awesome. Okay, great. I think we should get started. I am thirsty. So I tasted through your wines. They're amazing. I'm so excited to learn all about your winery. And thank you for agreeing to come on video today.
You're welcome.
It's really a pleasure because for me, it's always difficult for me just to taste wine and try to get an idea of how it's made. So that's why I love having people on camera and by video to understand a little bit more. And of course, we can't see each other in person. I can't come to Božetica. So this is the best way to do it. And this is the only way to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself, and Anna, I will let you introduce yourself as well. So I am Ariel. I run Civil Wines. I founded my website about 2.5 years ago to create more of an engagement and more of a conversation about wine. And since COVID happened, I kind of narrowed it into Czech wine. And so Anna and I met, I think over Instagram, through a mutual friend, Leah from Vinopsani. And Leah kept talking about your wine, how good they are. And I was like, I need to try these wines. So I'm really excited that you're on camera with me today. They're amazing. So Facebook world, Instagram world, I'm so happy to introduce Anna from Vinařství Bystřický. I said it right this time. Cool. So Anna, please welcome. If you want to say a few words, that'd be great.
Hi, I'm Anna from Vinařství Bystřický. We made wine from 2016 with Vojta. Our winery is in Božetice, and we make wines organic way. I think we have a little talk tonight about that theme, and enjoy our wines.
Yeah, we had a few people purchase your wine sets. So that's great. So we've got some people enjoying the wines along with us. What I suggest is that we start with pouring a wine because it's 7:04 and it's Friday and it is lockdown and we need wine. So tonight we have 6 wines from Vinařství Bystřický. This is part of their red velvet set. So all of these wines are red wines. And yeah, let's pour the first wine. So the first wine will be Zweigeltrebe. So I'll hold the bottle up here. I love your new labels. So there's a lot to unpack with these labels, so I'm very excited for them. Of course, for those of you who have the wines at home, if you don't want to open all 6 tonight, I totally understand. The Zweigelt's going to be the lightest, and I posted them in the Facebook events. The Zweigelt will be the lightest, and the Cabernet Moravia 2017 and the Cabernet Sauvignon 2017 will be the heaviest. So kind of gauging yourself from there, from lightest to heaviest. So let's start with this beautiful Zweigelt. So I'll talk a little bit about Zweigelt, and then I'll ask about yours. So Zweigelt is a crossing. It's a crossing of Blaufränkisch and Saint Laurent, or Frankovka and Saint Laurent. And it was crossed in Austria in the early 20s by Dr. Fritz Zweigelt. For me, I love these wines because they're really peppery, and they have nice, like, crunchy red berry fruit character. But yours it's 13.2% alcohol, but it's so light in color. I have to hold this up to the camera. It's gorgeous. I love it. It's like dancing in the glass. I love it. So can you talk a little bit about this particular wine, and then maybe we'll talk about the winery?
Yeah, okay. This is the lightest red wine we have. So when somebody comes to our place and asks for white wine, we offer Zweigelt because of the yummy, juicy taste. This wine is from 2018 and aged 18 months on French oak, because we have every wines in French oak barrels. So these two,
Wow.
and like Lea says, it's like sour cherry jam.
Mm-hmm.
In nose and on palate too.
It's a lovely wine. I really like its acidity. It's very bright. It's refreshing. It's like you said, it's like a red wine for white wine drinkers. It has a real juicy acidity. It's not tannic. It's not heavy. It's really light on its feet. I really enjoy it.
That's the point.
Oh, I love the nose. It's kind of floral too, like dried roses, dried flowers, and raspberries and sour cherry, like what you said. It's really a lovely little wine. Kind of crunchy red fruits, like cranberries. I was surprised at 13.2% alcohol, that it's, I was expecting more like body to it, but I'm not disappointed. I like the fact that it's so light. I really love these styles of wine, these cool climate, kind of higher acid wines. Oh, we have a favorite. Mary Carmen says, I think it's my new favorite. Wait till you try the Cabernet Moravia, Mary Carmen. You're going to love it. But this is a really juicy, refreshing wine. And so, yeah, your labels have a lot on them that may not be apparent to the average consumer. So, for example, like these leaves here, this is your logo, the bee. Can you explain why you put these leaves on the label here?
Yes, these are our new etiquette for 2018, and we put there the leaves from organic winery, because these are herbs which we use in our vineyards. So on Zweigeltrebe there is sage, salvia.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dried sage. Yeah.
On Cabernet Moravia is here horsetail. On Cuvée Kopce is nettle.
Okay.
And on Dornfelder we have milfoil.
Okay.
Yeah, is it right? Milfoil.
Can you?
Żebříček.
Maybe mustard seed? No.
I don't exactly know the name in English.
That's okay. To nevadi. It's okay.
Never.
And so these herbs that you're using, so this is something for biodynamic viticulture. We're going to get into it as we talk a little bit about it. So you and Vojta, your partner, you believe in using kind of organic practices in your vineyards to eliminate the use of pesticides and fungicides. So these are really wines these are wines made from grapes that are not used with any kind of chemical or commercial pesticides. So these are really treated as well as they can in the most natural way.
That's right. We use only herbs on our vineyards. We made teas from these herbs, like you,
something.
Make it. Sorry,
like an infusion.
For example, nettle. It's macerated in cold water, but horsetail you boil like tea on the morning. So it's different. It's different prepares there, and we used these herbs and biodynamic preparates too. It's I think you know that cow horn silica. Yeah, cow horn silica and cow horn manure.
Okay. Yeah, these are common biodynamic. They're called biodynamic preparations for this biodynamic viticulture, and it's not easy to do, especially in a climate that's so unpredictable. Like here, frost can happen at different times, or rain can happen, and then you have to protect the grapes. So you're very ambitious to use these more organic practices in your wines.
We are trying biodynamic for 2 years, and year before we use preparates from Green Heart from Kutná Hora. It's natural, but not something between commercial and biodynamic.
I see. Yeah, I think what I'm most fascinated by about here in the Czech Republic, a lot of winemakers are really focusing in on these more organic practices, using less chemicals, less pesticides. They're really creating that relationship between man and nature. And I love that. I love that your winery has latched on to that. I think it's the wave of the future. I think consumers are looking for healthier products that are less commercial, less manipulated. Smaller wineries, family wineries. So this is you and your partner, your fiance, Vojta, right? So can you talk a little bit about Vojta's role at the winery?
Vojta is the man who makes the wine because he started alone in 2016. And I joined him in 2018, 2 years earlier.
So it was your magic touch that changed the labels then too.
That's right, because I love biology and nature and eco products at home too, not only natural sprays on vineyards, but on garden too. So
sure. Yeah, I went to one winery and I was walking through the vineyards, and I remember one of the winemakers saying, the animals love our vineyards the most because everything's organic and the fruit tastes better. They're not sprayed with chemicals. So I always like to relate that. I think that's kind of funny. But just to give an idea of the labels and how they have changed over time for people who may not have the bottles at home. Yeah. So this is the old label from the 2017 vintages. And then this is the new label. Oops. So a little bit more of that kind of wood aspect to it, kind of like a barrel or cork even. It's really nice. I really like it. It gives that kind of natural touch. It's beautiful. So I think we have some new lovers of this wine. Daria says she's a bit of a white wine drinker, so she's loving this one. Yeah, it's such a fresh style of Zweigelt. Just recently, I had a Zweigelt from Austria, actually, and it was much heavier and it was kind of thicker. But I really prefer this style. I love that fresh, juicy style of Zweigelt. I mean, this is a wine you can drink all summer, even when it's really hot. Pop this in the fridge, maybe 10, 15 minutes, and it would be fantastic.
Vojta isn't at home at the moment, but I think our Zweigelt is so light because of their Zweigelt lay on skins only for 4 days.
Okay.
And our other red wines lays on skin much longer.
I see. So that maceration period where the grapes kind of leach out all of their flavor, the tannin, all of that in that pre-fermentation maceration. So for the Zweigelt, just 4 days, that's very light. That's probably why I'm getting this, this really fresh character and much lighter color in the glass too. It's a beautiful ruby color, kind of slight magenta or fuchsia color to it. It's a really attractive color. I really like it a lot. Yeah, it's a lovely little wine. I mean, this is a wine like hors d'oeuvres kind of. I could just imagine this, you have a friend over, you're just having like cheese and crackers kind of thing. This is the wine for it. It's just easygoing. It's like, that reliable friend who can just give you a hug at any time of the day. This is the Zweigelt. It's fantastic. And
that's why it's Lea's favorite.
Yeah. It's just so easy. It's very easy drinking. So you mentioned with this French oak, so you mature your wines in French oak barrels. Are they barrique? Are they smaller?
Yeah, they are small, but we don't use exactly barrique barrels because we fill them after 3 years. We you know what I mean.
Do you use them when they're new, or do you use them when they're used, if they've already been used before?
More when they are used.
Okay.
We have some new. I think we go there with other wines.
I see. Okay. So this one only sees used French oak.
Yes.
Barrique. Okay. Yeah. And so for those of you watching, when a winemaker chooses to use these used barrels, it doesn't impart as much spice and tannin as a brand new barrel would, but the used barrel helps to give it a bit more structure, a bit more oxygen can get into the wine to build it up a little bit. So it has a little bit more tannin to it without being too vanilla driven or sweet tannin driven. It just kind of helps bulk up the wine a little bit without going over the edge.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I love this Zweigelt. It is so juicy, so refreshing. And just knowing that it's made from organic fruit makes me like it even more because I know that what I'm drinking is a really natural product. So it's delightful. Yeah. All of your wines, these red wines are all bottled under cork, right?
Yeah.
Are all of you produce white wine as well? I mean, we're focusing on red wine tonight, of course, but
we have only 2 white wines, and they are from I think 2018 vintage, but we don't have vineyards with white grapes, so we have to buy them from organic wineries. And this year we started to do new vintage without white wines. So Vojta says that he wants to do only clarets from red wines from our grapes and pet nuts maybe, but every time from red varieties.
Wow. So I get asked this question all the time. Where do you find red wine in South Moravia? Vinarství Bystřické. Kožetica, exactly. So your winery focuses on these red grapes. Božetice is really known for red wine. So if you are a red wine lover in South Moravia, Božetice is the village you need to go to. I've had some of the best red wines from your village, from Božetice. Are you in Božetice right now?
No, I'm in Hustopeče.
Okay. So Hustopeče is a little bit farther north than Božetice.
But Vojta is in Božetice, and he is in our cellar because we are under the reconstruction now. So he works there.
I see. So your cellar with your barrels and archive bottles, all of that's under reconstruction?
Yes.
Wow. That's a lot of work. Oh my goodness. And during COVID too. Oof. Wow. Do you plan on having a tasting room in your cellar?
Yes. And we hope we have it everything in order before our wedding. So we have 2 months.
Oh my goodness, you're getting married in June. Yeah. That's
the cellar have to be done.
Right. The time will fly. I'm telling you personally, from personal experience, 2 months before the wedding is like very fast.
Yeah.
It'll be I'm happy for you guys. That's awesome. Micah, is that your relative?
Yeah, it's my mother.
Hi, Mama. She says Yarrow is red check.
That's the check. It's hard to
words for this American girl right here. Yarrow, I can say. That's fine.
It's harder than Vinařství Bystrický.
Yes. I've got your winery down though. I think so in the pronunciation, but this is a beautiful little Zweigelt though. This is awesome. Oh, Leah is very excited about your wedding. That's fantastic. Yay. I like when 2 wine people get married. That's makes me very happy. So cool. Let's jump to the second wine, and I can share my screen and give everyone at home who's watching just kind of a walk through the cellar. So the second wine we're going to have is the Cabernet Moravia 2018 vintage. Cabernet Moravia has been quite a discovery for me. I love Cabernet Franc. I love Zweigelt. So they combined these 2 grapes in the early, actually mid 20th century. I think it's around mid 1970s with this grape variety, this Cabernet Moravia. I love it because, like I said, Cabernet Franc is a very old grape variety from Bordeaux. It has this kind of herbal, very strong tannin, dark flowers, very dark fruited element to it. And Zweigelt, you just tasted it, is very peppery and fruity with lots of sour cherry and raspberry. So this crossing created Cabernet Moravia. I've fallen in love with this grape. This grape is really only grown in South Moravia, in the Velké Pavlovice subregion, where Božetice is. It needs a really warm climate. It's a late ripening grape. It's beautiful on the vine. It has these kind of loose bunches, blue, really dark blue, purple skin grapes. Really beautiful wine. But this was the wine that stole my heart when I tasted through them all earlier. This is so peppery. I love it. It has this olive note too, like black olives and black plums. And this little herbal, like dried herbs. I mean, this is really a complex wine. I mean, I haven't gotten olive at all in any of the Cabernet Moravia I've tasted, but yours hits it. Incredible. It's really one of, I hate to say this, I have so many favorites, but this might be one of my favorite expressions of Cabernet Moravia. This dark olive character is really unique. I love it. And that pepper on the palate, it's like just dancing on my palate. It's fantastic. So how many hectares do you have altogether? Like how many vines do you have or bushes?
1.5 hectare.
That's all. Oh, you're so okay. Wow, it's small, small, small. So you must produce maybe 10,000 bottles a year, something like that?
About 6,000 per
6,000.
year. Mhm.
So all of you who have these wines tonight, you're very lucky. There is not a lot of these wines available.
That's right.
So you are in the exclusive Bystritsky Club tonight. These are really, low production wines. So awesome.
Yeah, very small winery.
Yeah. This is why I love South Moravia, though. There's an abundance of small family wineries that just their passion is wine and producing great wines that are representative of their region. So I love it. Before I go ahead and share my screen, can you talk a little bit about maybe like the maturation of this wine? Did it also saw French oak, like you mentioned?
Yeah, also French oak, also 18 months aging. And then 1 year in a bottle. Now it's 3 years in a bottle. And I think Cabernet Moravia was macerated on skins for more than 1 week. I think 10 days, maybe.
Mm-hmm. A 10-day maceration. Yeah. So the grapes with the juice.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And do you do a punch down of the, like you're punching down the cap? Do you do that?
No.
Okay. It's just the grapes in the.
Yes, like you said.
So they're just kind of sitting in an open container. So no lid. Okay. Yeah, this is a common practice in red wine making. Like all of the good stuff in red wine, all of the antioxidants and tannin and flavors for red wine comes from the skins. So the longer you have this maceration period, the more flavorful sometimes the wines can be. So beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So now everyone's had maybe a glass of wine, maybe two in them. So I just prepared a short, small presentation just with some photos, just to give everyone kind of a walkthrough of what it looks like. Okay. So here are the soon-to-be married couple, Anna and Vojta. These are in their vineyards in Božetica. And this is your cellar. So this is what is under reconstruction now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And this is the most traditional kind of cellar with these brick and stone. I love it. You have a lot of bottles here. I can help you drink those, Anna. It's no problem. I'll come
I know that.
You know I'll help you. So this is Božetica. I took this photo, I believe, from wineofczechrepublic.cz. But this is just kind of an overview of the village. So it's not hilly like Pálava, because Pálava has that limestone soil. Your soil is a bit different. You have magnesium in your soil. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
And so that magnesium helps to create more of a, maybe like a minerality or freshness with the wines, from my understanding. I could be totally wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But it's beautiful. I mean, any vineyards are beautiful, but I think South Moravia is just really special. So this is the Cabernet Moravia 2017, hanging out in the vineyards.
First labels.
And so we'll be enjoying this wine at the end. This is the last wine we'll try tonight. And again, just a beautiful shot of the vineyards. Your vines look, how old are they? They look a little old, like 8 to 10 years, maybe?
This first layer isn't our wines.
Okay.
The layer near there is, yeah, and okay. I think they are 10 years old, 10 to 15 years old.
Okay.
And you can see there the green street. It's because we used green crop
Mm-hmm.
Is it right?
Yeah, like a
For
mm-hmm.
yeah, for bigger biodiversity in our vineyards.
Aha. So we call it like a crop cover.
Yes,
So you have
that's
these
right. Mhm.
plants between the rows that help to create more of a biodiversity in some of the vineyards. Yeah, it's beautiful. And that's, some of the best part with wine. So this is a black and white photo, but this goes to show some of the crop cover here. And it looks fairly wild, but this is one of the best ways to create this I won't say biodynamic, but this biodiversity in the vineyards. So you mentioned a little bit about biodynamic viticulture. I took these 3 photos from your Facebook. So this is the cow horn that's filled with silica that's actually planted underneath the ground. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. For half of the year.
Okay. And you have to follow some of the astrological patterns, like when the moon is high and when the sun is low.
That's right.
I'm not as knowledgeable about biodynamic. I've read a little bit, but I think it's fascinating that it really goes in line with the astronomy of how the planets are in line. Which plant is this here?
This is horsetail.
This is horsetail.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is this teas from horsetail is used against fungi on vineyards.
I see. And so that this gets sprayed, or excuse me, this gets boiled. You said at a high temperature, and then you use it as a spray in the vineyards.
Yes, exactly.
And so you would spray this before it rains, or maybe after it rains?
Before it rains and before the sun is come up. So Vojta goes on vineyards about 4 o'clock in the morning and sprays our vineyards.
Wow. At 4 o'clock in the morning, I am sleeping. I'm trying to work off my hangover. Oh my goodness. So on the right, these are
nettle.
This is nettle. Okay.
This is nettle.
Okay. And so this also is used as a preparation in your vineyards.
As a spray, and it's natural defense for plants.
I see.
You can also use it at the garden for herbs maybe, or for tomatoes.
That's good to know. Okay. So any of you gardeners out there, get some nettle. And so you boil this as well?
No, nettle is in cold water for 1 week. And then you mixed it in 1 to 40 and sprays on vineyards. And we mixed it with the horsetail tea. So we put it there together.
So the nettles and the horsetail together. Okay.
Sometimes with sage or salvia too.
Okay. So yeah, for all of those people out there, a lot goes into growing the grapes on the vine, making sure that the healthiest grapes you have are there, and using preparations like this are natural from the earth. So fantastic. Here's Vojta, very proud by his vines. And so this is, I'm assuming, is one of the sprays that you're getting ready to spray.
And barrel for spraying.
I see. Okay. Yeah, these are just, some quick photos. I just wanted to show everyone, just to kind of give an idea, to give some scope of what goes into growing the grapes on the vine. I think that's so important to give people an idea. So can you explain about the silica horn thing again? Yes, totally. So these are cow horns that are filled with cow dung, I think, like manure.
Horn silica is filled with silica sand.
Okay.
Yeah. And the cow horn manure is filled with what you said.
So the cow horn is filled with the cow manure.
Yeah.
And the silica horn is filled with silica sand.
Yes.
And so the point of doing this, I mean, it's supposedly to help kind of aerate the soil. That's kind of my understanding. But if you can explain in a better way than I can.
Yeah, the horn with manure, it's for soil. And the horn with silica, it's for plants, for leaves.
Okay.
And as Vojta says, it's wellness for our plants.
Yeah, it's true organic wellness. Yeah, exactly. Keeping the grapes really, really healthy and keeping the soil aerated. I think, when you're growing a grapevine, the most important thing is that the roots go really deep down into the soil, so that the vine itself has more stability and more strength throughout difficulties in the growing season. And so by using these natural products, this cow manure and aerating the soil, this helps to kind of create a healthier plant.
And actually, for the roots to go down there, it's best to use dandelion.
Dandelion.
Yeah, but we tried with dandelion this year for the first time. Huh. So we will see.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I think it's so fascinating that all of these organic products can be used in place of commercial pesticides. Of course, if you're making 400 million bottles a year of something, it may be a different story. I mean, you're able to control 1.5 hectares pretty easily. You're able to predict the weather and to kind of anticipate how your vines are going to grow. You're not dealing with 1,000 hectares. So Alicia has a good question. Could you tell what the aging potential of Cabernet Moravia usually is? She never knows if she has to wait or keep them in the bottle, or, I mean, generally I've had them pretty fresh. I mean, a couple of years maybe, a couple of years bottle age. I don't think it has the tannin structure or alcohol to really give it that boost, but I've never had an old Cabernet Moravia. I'm not sure.
I don't know what to say to Alicia, because I think Cabernet Moravia, our Cabernet Moravia could lay down maybe 3 more years, but no longer, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, this is not like, I'm trying to think of like Sangiovese or something. This is not a wine, or even Frankovka. I'll keep it more relatable to South Arabia. Frankovka, for me, it needs time in bottle. It needs like 5 years in bottle, and then it's finally drinkable. But wines like Zweigelt, Cabernet Moravia, I mean, 1 to 3 years, I think is kind of the sweet spot, because Cabernet Moravia has that great acidity, and I would never want to lose that freshness.
And low tannins, so.
Yeah. These aren't early wines. These are more delicate tannin wines, and I love them. I mean, even before I moved to the Czech Republic, I was always drinking lighter style reds. I loved them, especially from the West Coast of the United States, really fresh and juicy. And then I came here and I'm in the land of juicy red wine, and it's delightful. It's beautiful. So is everyone able to pick up kind of that peppery note? It's kind of like white pepper, black pepper. I'm not saying green peppers in this aspect at all. This is really spicy. It really picks up that pepperiness from the Cabernet Franc. And this beautiful like olive character. It's fascinating, and kind of a red berries and red currants. And some red plums as well. Very, very berry driven, but not fruity, if that makes sense. It has more complexity than that. I'm so glad you guys are using French oak.
Mary Carmen, Pampeliška. Yeah, that's dandelion.
Ah, Mary Carmen, you can speak Czech too. Amazing. Well, I hope everyone is really enjoying that. I flipped out when I smelled this wine. It's delightful. I mean, for me, I could easily sit and drink this wine on its own. I mean, but I think with like smoked meats or something, smoked kielbasa, it'd be so delicious together. A beautiful freshness to it and really nice on the finish too. What I like is that it still lingers in the mouth. So it has this long finish, lots of dark berry fruits and plums, and that little spice on the end too. It's a great wine. Please tell Vojta might be one of my new favorite Cabernet Moravias. That's a high award because I've had many, but this is a beautiful one. Lovely, lovely. So let's jump to the third wine. Let me see if there's any other questions that jump. Oh, how far from the train station is the tasting room? So if someone was to come visit you once reconstruction happens and COVID's over and our lives become normal again, how far?
I hope in June.
Me too, for your wedding.
Yeah. It's I think 1 kilometer. So nice walk.
Yeah, and there's buses also that run through Božetica, I believe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like you could always take I've gone to Božetica by train. I've gotten off in a different stop, I think, than Božetica because I took the train to Stapleton Springer.
Yeah, there's only one stop in Božetica.
There's just one. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Božetica, as I was explaining, it's slightly different than the other villages that surround it because you have more magnesium in your soil. I visited I was actually in Božetica like 3 weeks ago. I was visiting Rodné Vinarství Jedlička and Ota Ševčík. And so it was Ota actually who was explaining a bit of this magnesium in the soil and how this translates to this mineral character, even in the red wines. But he was speaking Czech and I was understanding like 40%. So I could be totally off, but that was my understanding.
And have you been on Kraví Hora with Ota?
No, I have not.
Yeah. He have a cellar in a village, I think.
Yeah, his cellar is actually just adjacent to Stapleton Springer. So you have Springer winery, and then in right underneath is his cellar. Yeah. And how many, I don't see many Cabernet Moravias coming out from Božetica. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But usually I find them in I guess the northern part, like Husta Peče, Nozislav, Moravska Nova Ves. I've had some. But mostly I've had a lot of Frankovka, a lot of
Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir. Yeah. But I'm happy you have Cabernet Moravia. It's my favorite red Moravian grape, so it makes me so happy. But yeah, let's jump to the third wine. This is the Cuvée Kopce, and I'm really eager to learn about it because it's a cuvée, so it's a blend. So I can make a guess of what's inside, but I might be off. I decanted it a little bit, just like you suggested, to kind of give it some air. And this wine has much more body and chocolate notes and espresso. This is a little bit more of a more bold style of red wine. And a beautiful kind of fuchsia magenta color in the glass, kind of a ruby red with a little bit of a purple color. Oh, it's a beautiful wine. So tell me all about it. I will find the bottle. So the Cuvée Kopce here. Kopce means hill in Czech, if you're watching.
Yes. And that's our terroir. It's called Kopce.
Oh,
It's
okay.
next Kraví hora. Next, yeah.
Okay.
And will you try what's inside? Or
Do you want me to guess?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yes.
Yeah. Merlot? No. All right, I've got one. How many grapes is it in total, Anna?
5.
5. Oh my goodness. Okay.
You have a lot of options.
Zweigelt,
Uh-huh.
Cabernet Moravia.
Yeah.
I don't know the other two. Pinot Noir.
And Frankovka.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So Cabernet Moravia, Frankovka, Pinot Noir, Cabernet Sauvignon, Zweigelt.
Yeah. Wow. That's Cuvée from vineyard. So this Kopce is our oldest vineyard we have. I think there is bushes older than 30 years. And
older than 30 years. Oh, it's an old vine.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And as Vojta always says, it's because of in these days what you can buy, you plant there. So it's because of 5 varieties there.
I see. So Vojta kind of makes the best of what he can get. He says, okay, this is what I have. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Very functional. I like that. He's very straight. Good. Pinot Noir is in my DNA. Me too, Daria. I love Pinot Noir. I rarely have Pinot Noir in a cuvée. And so I'm intrigued to this blend, but I like it. It takes kind of this dark berry fruit, this cocoa and chocolate note that I just love. It's like a velvety, soft body to it. It's not too sharp. It's not acidic. It's very soft tannin, but more medium bodied. This is definitely a bit heavier than the previous 2 wines.
Yeah.
These slight kind of espresso notes and sweet spice notes. Mm-hmm. And very earthy. And there's a little hint of like a fresh mint on the nose too, that little tiniest hint. But it's voluptuous. And I love saying this. This is an adjective I use for like, if something is kind of, if a woman, let's say, is voluptuous, she's very well figured, let's say. And so a wine like this is just round and velvety and just full figured, it's a little bit more broad and not so sharp, I want to say. This is definitely like the feminine touch on wine. It's beautiful. It's super velvety. I love this. I am so surprised at the high quality of your wines. I mean, for the price for the set, I mean, you guys who have these wines, you're drinking really premium biodynamic wine. I mean, so you don't have the certification for biodynamic certification. There's only one in the Czech Republic. I think it's Kutná Hora.
Yeah, that's right. We at the moment we are waiting for our bio certification because you have to wait for 3 years to get the stamp on your products. So we asked for a bio in 2020. So we have 2 years, and then you have to wait another 3 years for biodynamic.
Wow.
So it's a long journey.
It's expensive too to get the certification.
Yes, that's right.
It really is. A lot of winemakers I've met are just like, I don't want to pay for it. Our wines are organic. We know it. It doesn't matter, kind of thing. So
maybe we don't go for Demeter certification, but we want to have bio stamp, bio leaf.
Yeah, I understand. People are always looking. I think consumers are becoming more knowledgeable, more savvy about what they're buying, and so they want to see that organic stamp. But you can be assured, everyone watching these wines the grapes are organically treated, and so these wines. Does the VOC Modre Hori, does that go into Božetice as well?
Yes.
Okay. Are you guys part of the VOC Modre Hori?
Not yet, but in 2019 we have Frankovka, and Vojta want to get in VOC with our Frankovka. So we should try it.
Yeah. So again, for those of you watching, VOC is Vina Originalny Certificace. It's kind of a protected designation of origin. I think there's like 11 in the Czech Republic. It's pretty crazy. There's 5 really in South Moravia that are the most important. But VOC Modre Hori is the only one with red grape varieties. So where you can produce red wines under this VOC specifically for this part of the country. Yeah. So if you guys like this wine, please write in the comments. I'm so curious to know what all of you are thinking about these wines that have them in Brno. Leah, I know that you love these wines too. But it's like almost like a cherry liqueur on the nose. Like I drink vermouth a lot. Manhattan's, the cocktail, is like my favorite cocktail on the whole planet. And so this cherry liqueur note on the nose, kind of cherry marmalade, but stronger than that. Like cassis and kirsch. It's a beautiful, really well-made wine. I'm going to ask some kind of technical questions. With this particular, I won't get too crazy, but I'm just curious. So when he's producing this Cuvée Kopce, is he putting all of the grapes together and then fermenting everything together? Or is he doing everything separately?
No, together, because there is one bush, Zweigelt, Frankovka, Pinot. So it's hard to give it separately.
So it's like a field blend.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Because I was going to say, for one, I mean, you guys have such a small cellar. I can't imagine you having to press every grape, vinify them, ferment them, mature them. And so the percentages that you have, it's just depending on what you have in the vineyards, really. So this Cuvée Kopce, is this the first time you made this Cuvée, this 2018 Cuvée?
No, we have 2017 too. It's
okay,
but it isn't in this box because we have only, I think, 80 bottles maybe of Cuvée Kopce 2017, and I think it's our family reservoir.
Yeah, it's what you're gonna have at your wedding night, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, this is just such a beautifully easy drinking wine. It's so soft and subtle. I love the tannin on it. It's not a drying sensation. It's not very harsh and aggressive. I mean, I decanted this at 6 o'clock. So not the whole bottle. I just put a little bit. There's 6 wines tonight. I'm not going that wild and crazy here. But I love this velvety texture of it. Cuvée. Cuvée means blend. Cuvée is just the Czech term for a blend. There you go, Daria. Yeah, I had to learn my Czech wine vocabulary pretty quickly when I moved here. Some of the words can vary, so yeah. And so this blend, this Cuvée, these wines just keep getting better and better. I mean, each one I'm trying. And, you know, if I don't like something, you can probably read my face. You can say, ooh, you know, Ariel may not like it, but these wines just make me smile. They're delicious. And what I really appreciate, you're using these organic and biodynamic practices, but none of these wines have any faults, meaning that there's not Brettanomyces. There's not these kind of funky things that can happen in wine when you're using minimal sulfur, when you're not using sulfur in the vineyards, when you can get mold or fungus. These wines are so clean, and it's congratulations, because it's not easy to do. You guys really have amazing wine.
I think a lot of work does the French oak in this case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, French oak is every winemaker's best friend, especially for red wines. Some of the top red wines in the world are matured in French oak. And you know, of course, there's many kinds of oak. Hungary is also known for their oak. Even in Czech Republic, I've had some wines from Moravian oak or acacia oak. French oak is most well regarded, I want to say, because it's a very fine grain of wood. There's two different forests where these coopers, the actual oak makers, where they actually source their oak from. And so they can kind of vary a little bit, but in general, French oak is very fine grains. It imparts a little bit of sweet spice note, a little bit of a vanilla note. The oak is not as porous, meaning that there's less oxygen coming in and out. So it's a fine grain, but it's fairly tight as well. So it allows for a long, slow maturation of red wines in particular. So when you go to a cellar and you are looking around someone's barrel room and you see some French oak barrels, you can bet that their red wines are going to be hopefully pretty good. That's always kind of a sign for me when I see François Frère or Seguin Moreau, these amazing coopers, that I know that the red wines are going to be extra special because they're expensive too. Each barrel costs about 300 euros or more.
New one.
A new one. Yeah. And so if you can imagine you're making, you know, let's say you need 20 barrels at a small winery like yours. I mean, you're forking up 6,000 to 7,000 euros on new barrels. Once those barrels are used, you will never get that new oak flavor again. So you can use them for sure. Many winemakers reuse their barrels, but after a certain amount of time, you can't use them anymore. And so it's a big cost, you know, but I think it's a good investment to make these really premium wines like you guys are doing down in Bojatica. And this is I'm trying to think of an analogy for this wine, but it is like velvet, like red velvet. I mean, this is the name of your wine box, Red Velvet.
Exactly.
It's just so soft, and I'm really enjoying it. What kind of food would you put with this wine? Like if you were to make a dish with this wine?
I don't know, maybe steak.
Mm-hmm.
Or we usually drink our wines with cheese, with French cheese, or with something with meat, with I don't know how to say hovězí.
Meat, cow meat, beef.
Cow meat, yeah, cow meat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know hovězí. Mm-hmm. Ja vím.
You're good.
Maso. You see me eat maso. But no, this is definitely a more structured wine. You know, there is more going on all over the palate. Is more tannin, more of a velvety, more plump texture too, a little bit heavier. What is the alcohol on here? Oh, it's only 13.3. That's quite low. Huh, fascinating. Yeah, cool. Because the Zweigelt is 13.2. And the color difference and the texture of the wine is completely different. So, I really love this cuvée. It's kind of got this sweet pipe tobacco also now that's really coming through. It's really showing a lovely perfume bouquet on the nose. It's fantastic. I'm in love with this wine. Lovely, really lovely. And on the finish, the acid's really soft. Like I said, it's not sharp. It's not making your mouth go with that great acid pop. It's just a really smooth sensation. Really lovely. Cool. All right, let's jump to wine number 4. And if any of you watching have questions on these wines, now is the time. You've got Anna here to answer them. I am not the winemaker. I'm just a wine lover. And so we are going to have the Dornfelder now. So Dornfelder is a German grape variety. It's not grown that often. I've seen more examples here in South Moravia, but outside of Germany and a few places in South Moravia, it's not as commonly grown, I think. A dark color on here. This Dornfelder has a really, really, really dark color to it, with the wines being produced from them. And so this is more of this dark purple, really dark ruby, really intense color on there. And more of that black plum, kind of black cherry, much more black fruited than red fruited. I'm not getting that crunchy cranberry, raspberry note. It's much more deeper and brooding and more, just more, black plum, blackberry, black cherry.
And Lena says coffee
notes to it.
Yeah, it's because this wine lays on new French oak, and it was toasted.
Aha. Okay. So the barrels were toasted.
Yeah.
I see.
That's why you smelled coffee and maybe cocoa.
Mm-hmm. Coffee, cocoa, like mocha. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a mocha latte for wine.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's showing much more of that black plum, that sweet cherry fruit on the palate. The wine is still dry. When I say sweet cherry fruit, it's just, for me, it's giving the sensation of kind of like a marmalade, like a black cherry marmalade or a plum jam. It has that sensation of being slightly sweeter on the palate, but it's still a dry wine. So I'm not explaining it very well. Oftentimes there are grape varieties that are similar to this. Primitivo is probably the number one that I can relate this wine to. It has this cherry plum character to it, very smooth, very, sweet fruited, as we would call it in the US, but still a dry wine. The wine has very little residual sugar. So this is not a sweet red wine, but it gives that sensation of sweetness, that kind of plum note to it. Oh, it's such a lovely wine. And again, deeper, darker color, a little bit more tannin. And you said new oak, toasted barrel. So if you've never known about barrels before, there's, I could do a whole video on barrels. Oftentimes barrels are toasted. They're either light, medium, or heavy toast. And that toasting helps to impart those flavors into the wine. So if you're getting a medium toasted barrel, you might get some of those chocolate or cocoa or coffee notes. Heavy toasts can even impart notes of smoke and char and like barbecue, like a grill. Lightly toasted are usually used for wines that are lighter in body, like Pinot Noir or something like that, where you don't want that spice component in there. I'm guessing this is a medium toast on here. Okay. I mean, this is a wine I would just drink on its own. I like that sweet fruited note. I wouldn't need any food with this. This is just kind of a couch wine. Like if you're watching movies, this is a nice wine to just sip on. And that little espresso mocha bit on the palate too. It's really coming through. It's like if you dusted black plum with some cocoa and like roasted espressos. Or, oh my gosh, I love these like chocolates back home. I don't know if you can get them here, but they're chocolate covered espresso beans.
Yeah.
I'm like addicted to them back in America. Can you find them here?
I think so. Yeah, my mom loves it too.
You, see, Maminka, me and you, we got to drink some Dornfelder and enjoy some chocolate covered espresso beans and drink some Dornfelder. This gives me that same sensation. It's like Raisinets. So Raisinets were like a popular candy, like the chocolate covered raisins. It's kind of like that kind of chocolatey, raisiny, plummy sensation, but still dry, which is great. Couch wine. I will be adopting this term. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. No, I love, there are wines that, for example, the Cuvée Kopce, I want that with cheese and meats and, you know, even, I would even do it like pasta sauce or like a ragu, like a beef ragu would be really nice with the Cuvée Kopce. It's got that acidity. But for this, I mean, this is just relaxing, chilling, Friday night, just hanging out. This is the kind of wine I would want for sure. But yeah, this kind of raisinette sensation, I love it. And the alcohol on here is 13.2 again. And so this sees, like you said, medium toasted oak barrel. And this is a 2018, so it spends maybe 1 year in oak or longer?
18 months too.
18 months as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's a long time to keep your wines in oak. Thank you. Many winemakers want to rush and put their wines on the market because they want to get money. They need cash to help with the new harvest. And to be able to keep your wines in barrel for so long before bottling, that's very ambitious. I'm very appreciative as a wine lover. I know you put your heart into them. How many plants of the Dornfelder do you have down in Božetice?
I don't know.
Not many, I'm guessing. Because it's not in the Cuvée Kopce.
No. Actually, Dornfelder is from another place in Božetice. It's called Trkmanska.
Oh, I know Turkmenska.
Yeah, it's next čtvrtě, I think.
Yeah. I'll write it in the comments just so people can see. One of my favorite rosés from Honza Stavek is from Turkmenska. That's the reason I know it. His Frankovka rosé. But there's a river as well, isn't there? Like
Trkmanka.
Turkmenka. Mm-hmm. My geography is not so bad because I've driven over this river like 20 times. The river Turkmenka. So that's in the village of Turkmenska is not a village, it's just like a vineyard plot.
Actually, we have a village too, and it's called Trkmanec.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So there's the river Turkmenka near the vineyard plot Turkmenska in the village of Turkmanec. I've got it. I'm Moravian now. Jajsa Moravska. It is so dark. It's a very dark color. Dornfelder tends to have this really dark color to it, to the wines produced. And being in a medium toasted barrel might even help that color. I'm not sure.
Dornfelder had dark skin grapes, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the skin color of the grape always influences the color of the wine. So if you look at a grape like Zweigelt, for example, they're not that dark color. The skin is not as thick either. with those really thick-skinned grapes like Zinfandel or Dornfelder. You have a dark-skinned grape, slightly thicker skin. That tends to lead towards these darker colored wines. Is it like Pinot Noir? No, Pinot Noir is very thin-skinned, and it has kind of, it's a very slight purple note to it. It's not as dark. Like if, I wish I had some photos. I can even do a quick share screen. So let me just share my screen really quick to give you an idea. So the Pinot Noir grapes look like this. The name, the reason they're called Pinot is because they grow in this kind of, technically a pine cone shaped shape. So Pinot, meaning this pine cone shape. You can see the skin of the grape is quite blue. It's not black. It's not as dark. It's also very thin-skinned. And the problem with Pinot Noir is they grow in these really tightly packed clusters. So as soon as you have a little bit of fungus here, it's immediately going to affect the rest of the clusters. So Pinot Noir is really fickle on the vine. It needs to be really handled carefully in the vineyards. In terms of Dornfelder, so we're gonna head to Dornfelder. You see, I'll try to find a photo that's a bit more. The skin here, the grapes are a little bit bigger. You see they're not as tightly packed. There's a little bit more looseness in the clusters. And the grapes are slightly darker in color. As well, the grapes themselves are a little bit bigger. So you can see this here. So this slightly darker color. So Daria, I hope that answered your question a little bit. There are thousands of grape varieties all around the world. Oh, let me jump to, there's thousands of grape varieties. And so each grape has its own different unique character to it. So it feels somehow lighter than I would expect. The Dornfelder or the Pinot, Daria? Maybe not the color, but the taste. Yeah, the taste is lighter than you expect. Oh, it's interesting. Yeah, I've had some Dornfelders that are pretty light in terms of flavor, but this one definitely is a bit more brooding, a bit more robust. It smells like heaven, Eva says. Yes, it's like chocolate-covered cherries or like chocolate-covered raisins. Like, to me, it's like my favorite movie snack, like the Raisinets, you know? I would eat the whole box of them. I love them. This feels quite light to drink for me, so not full and heavy like a Cabernet Sauvignon. True. It doesn't have the tannin. I think that might be what you might be referring to. Tannins are that drying sensation that dries your mouth out. Like if you're drinking a Syrah or Zin or Cabernet Sauvignon or Merlot, sometimes they have a bit more drying sensation, more tannin to them. Sangiovese is the perfect example from Italy. If you drink Chianti, it has this, you have that little pucker at the finish, not acidity, but tannin. So that might be, that's exactly what I mean. Yeah, exactly. This is more velvety. The tannins are much softer. There is some tannin to the Dornfelder, but it's not as dry, I guess. It has a little bit more of that sweet tannin to it. So I hope that answered your question, Daria. Oh my gosh, I love this wine. It is chocolate-covered cherries and espresso and everything I want in life. It's beautiful. Wow. So we've gone through the 2018 bottles, the 2018 bottles. I hope everyone is enjoying these wines. I don't know if you've opened them all. If you have, how long would you say these wines can remain open, Anna? Like if you put them in a refrigerator or something like that? Like 3 days?
Yeah, 3 days.
Okay. So you don't have to worry about drinking them today and tomorrow. You can enjoy them throughout the weekend. This is why we kind of planned it on a Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can, worst case scenario, Tuesday, you still have some wine. Make a sauce. make a delicious sauce to accompany a piece of meat or something like that with it. Cook them with some onions and make a soup. You can do that. That'd be really good too. So Daria's digging the Zweigelt and the Dornfelder. Cool. They're very different. And what I think is most fascinating, I wish I had a second glass with me. Yeah, I don't think I do. Putting them side by side, I think is the most interesting. When you have the two colors side by side, so same alcohol content, all of that's the same, but you have that difference in color and texture of the wine. I think that's what makes wine so interesting. Sauce for lasagna. There you go. But this should not be your priority to cook with these wines. These wines are beautiful, organic wines.
Tuesday, maybe.
By Tuesday, yeah, I think so. I think that would be an acceptable use of Bystrzycki red wine. But for, if people are obviously, I drink a fair bit at home. But, if people aren't so keen on drinking a whole bottle of wine at night, I totally get it. What I would suggest is, you can buy these great vacuum pump little gadgets on Amazon. They cost maybe 10 or 15 euros, but they're lifesavers. They help to keep the wine a little bit more fresh over time. Keep the wines in your refrigerator overnight. I know, Anna, you might not want me to say that, but for me, it keeps the structure of the wine a bit more. I don't like drinking wine cold, but just to keep them, if you're not going to open it for 3 days, or let's say the wine's open already, but you're not going to go back for it, don't leave it in the heat. Don't leave it in the sun. Don't leave it by a window where the sun's going to come in and hit the glass. That can really affect the wine. So keep it in a cool place. If you have a cool cupboard, that would work too. Just keep it in the dark. Keep it in a dark, cool place is the best option for it. Hi. Oh, Konstantina, the different flavors depends on the grape type mainly or from the soil? Combination, I think. Yeah. So each grape imparts a different flavor. So Cabernet Moravia has this signature peppery, cherry kind of note. Cabernet Sauvignon is known for its herbal notes and blackcurrant notes to it. And so grape varieties have many different aroma compounds that are in the grapes, and soil definitely plays its part too. Yeah. I can just sit and relax with this wine now. I love this Dornfelder.
I think I should tell you a secret about this wine, because me and Vojta do svařák from this wine. Only Dornfelder, get it hot and drink.
Oh, Victoria, I know you're watching. You've got these wines too. You love some svařák, my friends. See, you can make a little svařák drink over the weekends if you don't know what to do with it. So svařák, for those of you watching outside of the Czech Republic, svařák is a popular mulled wine or glühwein here in the Czech Republic. So with spices and herbs and orange, I think orange, cinnamon, brandy, right? Little
maybe
some rum.
But
maybe.
We have everything here.
Exactly. Oh, it's lovely. All right. Are we ready to go to 2017, to go back in time, back to the future? I'm ready.
Mary Carmen is going to make some svařák.
There you go, Mary Carmen. And Victoria says, yes, definitely going to do that. Make some svařák with it. You have the whole bottle. That'll be your afternoon, relax with some cookies and some svařák. That sounds like such a waste to turn into svařák. Too good for that. It's delicious wine, isn't it? I mean, beautiful wine matured in new French oak barrels. Love it. But what I like the most, it's not oaky. Like I don't smell oak on the wine. And I love that. I love that
it's a new oak.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. Yum. Okay. All right, Facebook world. We've got 2 more wines, both from 2017. And we are going to have the Cabernet Sauvignon first. So Daria, get ready. You've got your Cabernet Sauvignon fixed today. So these are the old labels from 2017 vintage. So this is 13.8% alcohol. And Vino z České republiky. Actually, it's not Moravské zemské vino. Oh, it is Moravské zemské vino. Sorry, yes. On the back. My bad. My bad. All right, so Cabernet Sauvignon, one of the most planted red grape varieties in the world. Daria says she's going to fall off her chair. You love it? I hope so. Oh, wow. This is a beautiful wine. Is this 100% Cabernet Sauvignon? It's lovely. Black currants and black plums and a little spice as well. Beautiful. Can you talk a little bit about this is a pre-Anna wine. Yeah. Anna, you were not with Vojta at this time in 2017. Is that right?
I can only say what I know from Vojta, and that's the Cabernet Sauvignon 2017 and a Cabernet Moravia 2017, aged 1 year in a French oak, and then it goes to the bottles. So 2018, aged 18 months, and these 2 only 12 months. And they are on French oak too, I think, and both on second morrow.
Okay.
And Cabernet Sauvignon grapes we have had from Vojta's father, and he had vineyards on Vrbice.
Oh, okay. Oh, I love Vrbice. Is Vojta's father then also a winemaker? Or just a grape grower?
Winemaker and grape grower too.
And grape grower too. Is he still with us? Is he still alive? I don't want to.
Yes, but he have a separate winery, and he mostly do the barrel wines, vino ze sudu. He don't make a bottled wine.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's really for friends and family to.
Yes, that's right.
His wine. Yeah. Oh, wow. So Vojta, I guess, was influenced from his father then.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, I think that sense of family tradition in Czech Republic I love it. Great.
I think in Pavlovice and Bořetice, every family have a small or bigger winery. So we have. My father have winery too, but it's only about I think 100 plants only in the garden.
Oh my goodness! Oh, tiny operation. Wow!
It's only for personal use, how he said.
Yeah, I mean, we have breakfast wine in Moravia, so you have to. Got to keep the blood pumping. Mary Carmen asks, are the barrels burned on the inside? Yes. So not burned, they're called toasted. So there's some fascinating videos on YouTube. You can just YouTube, if you go on YouTube and write Cooper and toasted barrels, you can find some really fascinating information. Like I said, I mean, I'm not a professional in Coopers and toasting barrels and stuff like that. I know very basic information. But yes, when the oak barrels are produced, they are toasted on the inside. Like I mentioned, you have a light, medium, or heavy toast. And that toasting will impart different flavors into the wines. The heavier the toast, the more char you're going to get, the more kind of a rougher tannin you're going to get. These are for heavier toasts or for wines that have a bit more, for grapes that have a bit thicker skin, more tannin to the grapes themselves. So that kind of interplays with one another. The medium toasting you're going to use for medium-bodied wines, or for wines you don't really want to impart that char or that heavy toasted or oaky element to it. You want that slight cocoa or spice or espresso note to it. Those are kind of medium toasts. The lightest toast you're going to use for your lighter style wines like Pinot Noir. So Tomasz Springer is watching. Ahoy, Tomasz.
I'm nervous now.
Oh, no. Tomasz, we are
friends. We are friends.
We are drinking beautiful Cabernet Sauvignon. So, yes. So this nose on here, this is really Cabernet 100%. I mean, this beautiful black currant, black fruits, that slight kind of herbal undertone, a little bit of a spice too. This is a delicious Cabernet Sauvignon. This is for me, this is steak. Like I want a grilled steak or a burger, something off the grill. That's totally what I would pair with this wine. Even like charred mushrooms, I think would work really well. Like if you have a cast iron pan, saute some mushrooms with some dried thyme or dried herbs. Even with like a pasta or something, that would be delicious with it too. Very earthy on this wine. And this has more tannin. So Daria, going back to your comment before, this is a lot drier. This is getting that black tea component on the palate where it tastes like, well, not taste, but it has that sensation where it's a little bit more chewy on the palate. It kind of grips your mouth a little bit more. So yeah, this is a little bit heavier style of wine. 13.8% alcohol, so still under 14.
Yeah.
So, you know, but this just goes to show you can make great red wine in South Moravia. I think I've tasted some really bad Cabernet Sauvignon here. I'm going to be quite honest. I mean, Cabernet Sauvignon that should not call itself Cabernet Sauvignon, but this is Cab. This for me has that black currant, really tight tannin on there, really great structure. And this is a wine I would keep. I mean, I think that this wine could easily mature and easily age and cellar longer than Zweigelt or something like that. I think it's actually quite young. I mean, I would love to try this wine in like 4 years. I think it would really smooth out. Those tannins would really soften a little bit over time. It's a great bottle. How much more of this do you have left in your cellar? Probably not many, huh?
I think around 200 maybe.
That's all. Wow. Yeah, this is the kind of wine. If you are in Brno for a long time and you are looking to keep some wines, to cellar them or to keep them, to archive them, this is the kind of wine I would definitely archive. I would keep this bottle for another 2 or 3 years easily. I think it would be even better with time. It's delicious now. I think it needs food. I think the alcohol is there, the tannin is there. It's a much heavier style of wine, but I would totally keep a hold of that wine easily. So save me one. I'll come back in 3 years and drink it.
Okay. Actually, I think our 17s are younger than our 18s, but I don't know how it's possible.
Yeah, it could be the vintage. I mean, the past few years have been really weird.
Yeah. 2018 was much more better than 2017 for sun and weather at all.
Huh, interesting. Yeah. And so you're saying like the 2018 bottles for red wines in general are offering maybe a better value? Or just a little
No,
smoother?
no, but I think it should lay another year more or two.
Oh, I see. Okay. And whereas the 2018s are drinking easier now.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. My apologies. Yep, got it. So yeah, this is a stunning little wine. So Cabernet Sauvignon, for those watching, is a grape variety. As I mentioned, it's one of the most grown, planted grape varieties in the world. This is the #1 red wine in America. Cabernet Sauvignon is a crossing. It was Sauvignon Blanc and Cabernet Franc. And it was a crossing that happened in I believe, the mid 18th century, so the mid 1700s. It was a crossing from France, of course, with the name Cabernet Sauvignon. Can't be anything else, but it's, of course, known in Bordeaux. On the left bank, some of the most prestigious wines of the world are from these Cabernet Sauvignon. But this grape has been transplanted all around the world, Argentina to Australia to China to California. So, of course, there are some regions where it might be too cold to plant it or it might be too hot to plant it. Cabernet Sauvignon needs that kind of moderate temperature. Bordeaux does not get very hot. If Cabernet Sauvignon gets really hot in a really hot climate, it tends to be too much in alcohol and less in acidity. I've had some really hot climate Cabernet Sauvignons. I'm not really a fan of them. They're too jammy. They don't have that acidity. And for me, the best Cabernet Sauvignons come from these moderate to cool climates, like here in the Czech Republic, and of course, Bordeaux, and the cool spots in California, where it might be in the mountainside, it might be, a higher elevation to get that coolness in the air. And this is a grape that's pretty robust on the vine, I believe. It grows pretty well. It's not like Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir can be really tricky, but Cabernet Sauvignon grows quite well. So it's a big grape in Australia, South Australia, exactly. And the unfortunate thing is Cabernet Sauvignons is not all the same. You can get these bulk wines made from Cabernet, and they're not very good. They taste very uniformed, kind of. They have this, black plum and I don't know. They're just, from a hot climate, they're just not very appealing. But when they're made in small production like these, they can be delicious. I mean, I've had some really fantastic ones. So is Cabernet Moravia related to Cabernet Sauvignon? Great question. Yes and no. They both share one of the same parents. One of the same parents is Cabernet Franc. So for Cabernet Moravia, its parents are Cabernet Franc and Zweigelt. For Cabernet Sauvignon, its parents are Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon Blanc, which is actually a white grape. So they both share the same Cabernet Franc parent. So Cabernet Franc is the oldest of all of them. Cabernet Moravia is quite new, 1971 or 72, I believe it was developed. Cabernet Sauvignon is a natural crossing that happened in the mid 1700s. So, but they both share Cabernet Franc as their parent grape. And Cabernet Franc has that great peppery, herbal, strong tannin structure to it. That's why I really like them. It's confusing, isn't it, Mary Carmen? Lots of Cabernets out there in the world. I know. Actually, in Slovakia, I know there's a lot of different Cabernet crossings. Cabernet Nitra, I've heard of that one. In Kobili, actually, there's one. Stvi Bukovsky, they make a Cabernet Nitra, which is a hybrid, I believe. So there's lots of different crossings and hybrids of these stepkid grapes, Jared. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, all of these grapes they all originated really from these really old ancient vines and have just trickled down over the centuries. So there's thousands of them, and they're all kind of related. So just like we are as humans. So, us and grapes doesn't really take much to separate us. It's a lovely wine. I mean, this is a wine, like I want this with food. I want steak. I want ragu. I want even like a traditional svichkova. I think would be great with it. I like svichkova. I know. Everyone kind of like rolls their eyes when they say it. I love svichkova, that boiled beef and the cream sauce. It's tasty. Yum. Oh, it's a lot of wine tonight. 6 bottles. Vitek says it is only Nitra. Oh, I saw it labeled as Cabernet Nitra. So that's probably why. It might be just Nitra in Slovakia. Am I possibly from SoCal? Do you mean Southern California? I'm from New York. My father's from Southern California. He's from San Francisco. So that might be the accent you're picking up, but I won't speak like I'm from New York because you won't understand me. But yeah, for Nitra, yeah, it's if you check out Kuvée Kopce, they're in Kobili. They bottle their wine Cabernet Nitra, and I was like, "What the heck is this grape variety?" So, but in Slovakia, I've had Nitra, so could be. I can hear it a little bit. Yeah, yeah. No, never born in California. All right, shall we do the last wine? So, for all of you Cabernet Moravia fans, 2017 Cabernet Moravia. So, Alicia, this is going back to your question before about whether or not you can age Cabernet Moravia. This is just a peppery little bottle of goodness. Mary Carmen, Ale, get your palates ready. This is a beautiful wine. 15% alcohol. 15
alcoholic wine.
Oh my goodness. So guys, don't finish this one tonight. Drink the Zweigelt, drink the Dornfelder, a little bit lighter. If you've had a bad day, this is the one you want. If you're just, feeling the vibe of drinking wine tonight, stick with the Zweigelt maybe. 15 point. This is probably why I liked it so much, Anna. Beautiful, fragrant nose. It's like potpourri. It has this dried violets and pepper and kind of meaty too. It's like kielbasa.
Yeah. And this is a more tannic.
Oh yeah, definitely. More tannin. That spice, that pepper on the palate. I love that. It's like you've literally like taken a pepper shaker and have just sprinkled it on my tongue. So peppery. So it's alive. It's so vibrant and edgy. I love it. And a deeper color on this wine too. It still has that nice fuchsia that I really like from Cabernet Moravia, but slightly deeper in color than some of the previous wines. Do you filter your wines?
No.
Wines are unfiltered.
Yes. Every wines are unfiltered. We only rack the must of the leaves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. So the wines are bottled unfiltered. That's great. I think that keeps that great flavor and character in the wine, and that pepperiness would be lost if you filtered it. My husband's coming in wanting a glass of wine. I'm going to hand him the Cabernet Moravia because he'll really like this one.
Is his first one?
No, he's been sidling up to me and taking a little sip of wine as I've been tasting them. But yeah, this is so peppery and juicy. But this is much more complex Cabernet Moravia than the one we had before. I think what would be interesting for all of you folks watching, of course, enjoy this wine and then go back to the 2018 Cabernet Moravia and taste the difference between the two. I love doing that vertical tasting. Because oh my goodness, the 2018 had 12.8% alcohol. So what made that difference between the two bottlings? Were they picked maybe a little bit later, or a longer maceration time, more time in oak?
I don't know about 2017. So
okay. Oh, right. You weren't. Yeah. My mistake. Yeah. It's just fascinating. Same grape, different vintage, but totally different styles. I mean, they are what we say, it's like night and day. You know, I would drink the 2017 at night and I would drink the 2018 during the day. Ale is asking, can we buy these bottles individually on the eShop? I'm going to need a few more of these. Are they able to do that on your eShop or on your?
yeah.
Okay, super. So that's the answer to your question. Yes, you can order these bottles individually. You don't need to order this particular box set of the wines.
You can order
Okay.
6 Cabernet Sauvignon or Cabernet Moravia.
Mm-hmm. And Daria's asking, I'm one behind on the Cabernet. This is so different to an Australian one. Exactly. It's much easier to drink for me. I think it's that tannin aftertaste you mentioned. It could be. I haven't had Australian Cabernet in a long time. Some of the most interesting Cabernets actually from Australia come from Coonawarra, where it has this eucalyptus taste to it. It's very unique to Australia. So yeah, interesting. Cabernet Sauvignon really can take different aspects depending on the soil it's grown in. For example, in Coonawarra, they have this red terra rossa soil, which is like a red clay. And then in Bordeaux, you have gravel. And here in South Moravia, you have magnesium and clay. And in California, you have different soil types too. So the same grape can really take on different aspects depending on where it's grown, the climate, the vineyard choices, how many grapes you leave on the vine. All of these things come into play when making wine. It's not just cut and dry or static. Winemaking is very dynamic, and it depends on the location in the vineyard. Daria loves your wines, and she can't wait to come visit you. Yay. The wines are so much stronger in the aftertaste. The Australian one. Yeah. Australia is quite hot, and so the wines can have a bit more, the grapes have more sugar when they're picked, so the wines have a little bit stronger alcohol taste to them. That could be what you're picking up on, but I'm not sure which brand you've had before, Daria. Cabernet Moravia can be grown somewhere else, or is it exclusive to this region because of climate? It could be grown anywhere. Maybe not anywhere, but a cool continental climate could be grown. It's a Moravian engineered grape, so they're proud. Anna, have you ever had a Cabernet Moravia from outside Czech Republic?
No.
Yeah, same.
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, me neither. I don't even think in Slovakia it's planted. Cabernet Moravia is not even planted in like Bohemia. So if you're looking at like Litomierzyce or Mielnik, it's not even planted there. It's really planted in Moravia. This is very Moravia-specific grape variety. This is why I love it so much, and I'm going to miss it. Brown Brothers and Wolf Blass. Oh, I know Brown Brothers. Yeah, their Cabernet is quite strong. And there's a lot going on the palate for those. They're really big and robust and high alcohol. They're good, but for me, I like the more delicate structure to these. So yeah, there are some grapes that are planted in different parts. I mean, Zweigelt obviously is kind of taken off and is grown in different parts. But Cabernet Moravia is really unique to this region. So that's kind of, I'm so glad that you and Vojta have planted Cabernet Moravia in Božetica, because I think it's just such a beautiful grape. It makes these gorgeous wines. And this 2017, this is the highest alcohol Cabernet Moravia I've ever had. 15.4% alcohol, guys. Oh my goodness. But more deep black fruits. really black currant, black cherry, black cassis, pepper, lots of pepper, but nice acidity. It's still juicy. It has this black cherry, black plum, blackberry note, great pepper notes to it. Really, it's just tickling my tongue. I love it. I love this style of wine. So cool. I would love to know your favorites. If you want to write in your comments, maybe one of the favorite bottles you tasted, I'm sure Anna would love to know your feedback. All the wines are fantastic and well made. Not a fault in any of these wines. All bottled under cork as well. So super high quality wines you guys are drinking tonight. Organic wines, biodynamic wines, made from Anna and Vojta, soon to be married in June. I'm so happy for you guys. I have to meet Vojta at some point before I leave, I hope. Cool. So Ale loves Cabernet Moravia. I might need to stay in Brno just to be able to drink this wine. I had the same thought. I love this grape. It's so unique. I don't think there's any other grape like it. So my favorite was the second one, the Cabernet Moravia 2018. My husband, the same. It's beautiful, right? So fresh and peppery. And that's a wine that you can have 2 or 3 glasses and you don't have a headache the next day. You might, you can still, barrel through it. This last one, this is a high alcohol wine, but I don't taste it, which is nice. It's not strong in the flavor. That's beautiful. You guys have really surprised me. You and Vojta, Anna. Oh my goodness. Beautiful wines. I mean, so well structured and well made. I mean, you can tell there's a lot of heart in these wines. They're beautiful. Yeah. I'm just looking at your corks here because these, I think, I can't remember which ones went to which. I have just a few of them, but I'm glad you bottle your wines under these natural corks. Yeah, these here.
It's 2017 and this
2018.
2018.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, and you've got your logo on them now too. Cool. That's awesome. Wow. So how can people get these wines? So we have the sets at home now, but if people want to order them again, can they message you? Can they go to your website?
Yeah, they can message me on Facebook or Instagram, and we have e-shop too. So I can write it there, or I cannot. You can write it there.
Oh, okay.
I don't have it.
Let me pop your.
Yeah.
I'll pop your e-shop link right on there. I mean, I think these wines are beautiful. You're not in retail right yet in Brno. Are you in retail in other parts in the Czech Republic?
Yes, we have some distributors in Prague, at Bohemia, but we don't have them yet in Brno. So we should arrange that.
Yeah. Well, you make such a small amount. I mean, 6,000 bottles, 7,000 bottles a year kind of is your maximum. Yeah. So yeah, if you like these wines, the best way to do it, contact Anna directly, guys, because then you also get a better price too, because there's no margin, there's no markup for retail.
That's right.
So I always recommend, if you like a wine, contact the winemaker or, the winery, because you'll usually get the seller price, which is good. So, but you have other collections as well on your e-shop. So you have your velvet set and you have your first box.
Yes. In our first box is our two white wines. It's Hibernal. This one is Suché, dry. And the other white wine is Sunshine. And this is from Palava. But we have called it Sunshine because of the color. It's like orange wine.
Oh, nice.
Looks like. But it's Palava in a French oak barrel too. For, I think, 8 months maybe.
Wow, that sounds delicious. And it's Polo Suke.
Yeah.
And surely 18 months in barrel. Yum.
And it was 1 week on skin contact. It's made like red wines.
Nice.
So that's why the color is so dark.
Great.
And Hibernal is Suché, dry.
Okay. And so you have the Cabernet Moravia, the Cabernet Sauvignon, the Cuvée Kopce, and the Dornfelder, just like we tasted tonight, and it adds in 2 of the white wines. And then so you have your single bottles as well. So you have a Pet Nat.
This one is from 2019, and we have had all. This year we have Pet Nuts too, but it was only 100 bottles from variety, so we are sold out.
Wow, 100 bottles! Oh my goodness!
And we are going to have our own sect.
Nice, a sparkling wine.
Yeah, and
fantastic.
Yeah, we are cooperate with Camel Prokes.
That's awesome. Camille has helped many people here make sparkling wine. He's helped Libouche at Ouverbu. He's helped Roman at Fabig Winery as well. So I'm glad. I love the spirit of cooperation in South Moravia. It makes me so happy that all these winemakers are helping each other. So when the restrictions for travel disappear and shrivel up, will it be okay to rock on up to the vineyard and sit and have a drink there? So their tasting room will be completed by summer. So you'll be able to reach out to Anna to ask if there'll be, availability for tasting. Bojatic is an interesting village because there's lots of different wineries there. You can make a day of it. You can go to Bojatic and walk around and visit, 2 or 3 different wineries in Bojatic. So, yeah, it's easy to make a day of wine drinking in South Moravia. I've done it many times before COVID. It was great. And we will definitely be getting a few more. Cool. So I think you have some new fans in your fan club here in Brno. So yeah, this has been awesome. I mean, this is the best way to spend a Friday night, drinking great red wines from the region, small batch wines. This is great. Dari says, really sparkling. Yes, sparkling wine. This is the best place to grow it. Yeah. It will probably take a while though, I guess, because
I think we get them on Christmas this year. I hope so.
Yeah. Sparkling wine is difficult. It takes a long time to produce it and it's expensive. So cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Awesome. Well, it's getting on 9 o'clock, so I'm not going to keep everyone on too late tonight. I just want to thank you, Anna, for taking the time to bring all these wines to all these wine lovers in Brno. I know they're super grateful to you. You've made their weekends. Now they have 6 bottles of red wine to relax with. And thank you for coming on video with me. I know you were a bit nervous, but you are amazing. You did it. It's awesome.
Thank you. I need to practice my English.
You're fantastic. I need to practice my Czech. So It was really interesting. I love doing these chats because I feel like everyone, not just me, but I think everyone watching can learn a little bit about your winery and about your wines. And instead of just having me talk, it's so much more interesting hearing from you. So it was really a fantastic way to spend the Friday. I really appreciate the time you took to come to Brno, to answer my email at 12 o'clock last night. So you're awesome. You're awesome. Cool.
Actually, it was first time my degustation alone without Vojta. For the first time, and even in English.
You did a great job. You did a really great job. It's not easy. It's not easy to talk about the wines and the processes. It's kind of complicated. So yeah, I think you have some new some new wine lovers in Brno, though. I think Mary Carmen and her daughter are going to be ordering a few more Cabernet Moravias from you. It's so nice to have an organic wine to buy. Yeah, exactly. It's I think we're all concerned with our health and with our well-being and how winemakers are treating grapes in the vineyards. So organic practices are always a thumbs up for me. Eva says, you make COVID bearable. Thank you. I bring you alcohol and conversation, and that's all I can do. So that's great. Well, Anna, it is so nice. Please, you guys, reach out to Anna if you want to order any of these wines. Please reach out to her. She's so happy to sell you wine. And so I think we all should cheers. I need more wine in my glass, though. Hold on. I can't cheers with an empty glass. It's bad luck. So cheers to Anna. Thank you, Anna, for keeping us having fun this Friday nights. Really appreciate your time. Cool. And you guys know where to get your next organic red wines from Winařství Bystrycky. I'm saying it better and better. It's awesome. Cool. All right, everyone. We're going to log off of here. Enjoy your wines. Enjoy the weekends. And yeah, stay safe. Don't get COVID. All right, guys. Bye. Good night, Mary Carmen. Good night, LA. Cheers.